Assalamu alaikum, dear friends. Welcome to Lesson 7, June 23rd, 1757. 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., a 5-hour battle. However, the biggest story of the war was written by the silence of the commanders and the knife of betrayal. In this chapter, we will see how Nawab Siraj-ud-Daula was during the war, a commander of a huge army, yet in reality he was completely alone. The lonely man. When the war began, Siraj was extremely confident. He believed that his soldiers would support him. He was young, passionate, brave, and a symbol of Bengal's independence. But after a couple of hours, it became clear that Mir Jafar was not on his side. Thousands of his soldiers were standing, but not fighting. It was an invisible war, where the enemy was not outside, but within. One betrayal after another. The Nawab kept receiving news after news. Mir Jafar's army was inactive. Jagat Seth had stopped the expenses of the war. Some trusted officers had fled. The British had announced that Mir Jafar would be made Nawab. At these moments, Siraj was a man who had become the most neglected of his own people. Departure from the battlefield. As the afternoon wore on, the Nawab realized that this war was no longer in his favor. He then fled on some horse, some mule. The destination was Murshidabad, then Rajarhat, and finally via Nadia towards Patna. But there was no safety or shelter for him anywhere. Those who had once sung his praises turned their backs. A man after the war. The Battle of Plassey is not just a political event. It is the story of a young Nawab's broken heart, loss of confidence, and utter despair. He was a king, a commander, but in the end he became a defeated, persecuted, and lonely man. Key points. During the war, Siraj was alone, neglected. The commanders deliberately did not help him. Betrayal brought him down to earth. Fleeing the battlefield was the only way to protect himself. Siraj became the most tragic character in the history of Bengal. Historical question. Didn't the man who fought for his country become the victim of the greatest neglect in his own country? If you want to hear more stories like this, then subscribe to the History in Stories channel. And write in the comments, who do you consider a traitor?